dancer and a copy editor. I'm based in Bangalore, India. So there are many ways in which the Alexander technique has changed my life, but perhaps the biggest one is my transformation from dancer to human. So I'm going to talk about that today. My first experience with AT was in 2014. It was in college. It was a group class led by Ruth who I've just reconnected with, and that was really nice. And yeah, it was a class for dance majors. But yeah, at first I dismissed AT as much too easy and not what a real dancer needed. Lying down and quietly directing sounded like complete nonsense to me, when all I knew was crunches and pull-ups, push-ups, leg lifts and extreme stretching. But I kept coming back to it because I had an issue with a chronic stiff neck. And since AT seemed to begin with the neck, I thought maybe I should explore it. And I figured, as the perfectionist dancer that I was, that if nothing else, it would help improve my dancing. And that's all I ever really wanted. So I had a few stops and starts with the technique, and I only got deeply immersed towards the end of 2018, so it's been almost 4 years now. So to unpack my internal world using the technique, I went through directed activities and games. I wrote letters to versions of myself from the past to release and acknowledge traumas, and that's a project that I call Notes to Self. And I read books and articles written by many of you. While I was slowly observing and unraveling my various perfectionist dancer habits, I often experienced deep panic and uncertainty at the idea of letting go of decades of holding and gripping and squeezing. Among other things, I had very strongly pulled in my stomach, I had pulled my ears up to the ceiling, I had lifted the arches of my feet, and I totally collapsed when I wasn't dancing. And I carried these tensions into my entire life. I didn't leave them in the studio where maybe they belonged. But I took small steps with AT, and once my initial uncertainty subsided, I found that underneath all my tensions and my patterns, there was a real person that I had hidden away for many years. And I didn't have a clue who this person was. I didn't know who I was without dance. But it turns out that I could sing, I could read, I could write, I could brew kombucha, I could dance with ease and flow, I could fall and be okay with it. I could even enjoy time off from dancing. I could try and fail miserably at gardening, I'm still trying, and I could play the ukulele. So in discovering myself, my AT practice spilled over into all aspects of my life, not just dance. And I did many things that I never dreamed I would ever do. Things that didn't have a predetermined end in sight. So for one, I moved away from classical ballet towards more improvisation. I started choreographing my own work. I chose to wear looser clothes. I shaved my head, which as a classical dancer is totally unheard of. And I started to accept my whole self rather than hating the set of inadequate parts that I wished I could exchange for better models. Although I'm still working on that and looking for a full refund on my right knee. So AT gave me the confidence to embrace my creative voice and to take up space when I had grown up with the idea that dancers are seen and not heard. And in fact, if I had been asked to speak on this at this event a few years ago, I would probably have declined because I didn't believe I could speak in public. So the effect on AT on my life has been pretty profound, and in addition to wanting to delve further into it, I'm keen for it to spread throughout India where I live. it's not lost on me that I am one of just a handful of people at this Congress who is not white. And I believe and I hope that the AT world is growing bigger every day, and I think that as it does, it would be great if it truly represented the world we live in. So right now there are over 1 billion people living in India, and to my knowledge, just one teacher, and I think that's quite an unfair ratio. And so obviously there's nothing but potential there, and I'm really keen to be among the next generation of teachers in India so that can contribute to widening people's access to this amazing work.